Hello there everyone, it's UXW Bill here once again. It's been kind of a dry spell at all the thrift and second-hand goods stores here in my part of the world, but yesterday I was out and about hitting the thrift stores and I came across this piece. This is a circa 1984, very late 1984, almost early 1985, black and white CRT type portable television set sold under the TMK brand name. This is a model 717 portable TV. A little bit of history on portable television. Many television manufacturers, from the manufacturers of the first practical electronic television sets that people actually bought, were looking for ways to make the television set of the time smaller and portable and maybe even battery operated. But in 1959, Philco actually was the first TV set manufacturer to crack the problem, followed very shortly by Sony Corporation. In 1959, Philco introduced their black and white portable and battery-operated Safari television set, and it was actually the first practical battery-operated television set that you could buy. Of course, other set manufacturers were certainly not far behind. You fast forward a number of years, actually a couple of decades in this case, and you run into things like this. Now in 1984, portable television was starting to become driven less by picture tube and more by liquid crystal display. So this thing's design might have been considered a little bit obsolete, especially since in 1985 the first color LCD television sets were introduced to the public at a very large price. Now obviously a set like this would have been cheaper and more practical for many people, especially for something portable that's likely to get knocked around. But the people who made this set actually went out of their way to pack in a whole lot of extra value-added features. This is not just a black and white television set, this is also an AM/FM radio. Now AM/FM radios were pretty common in television sets. You already had most of the circuitry you'd need to add a radio to a set, but the manufacturers of this set actually went further by including a shortwave reception band from 3.2 to 9.7 megahertz. This television set is also packing more surprises. In addition to supporting the United States NTSC television standard, this thing also supports two different PAL standards. So this really was a practical portable TV. You could actually take this out of the country and stand a pretty good chance of its working properly when you got to your destination. You can see the standard selection switch there on the bottom and the band switches there on the top. There's also a place in the cabinet where you can attach a carrying strap to the television so you could watch it while you were on the go. This thing's power source is a couple of AA batteries, and it probably would have run for a decent amount of time on those because this AC adapter clearly tells us that the power draw of the set is some 350 milliamps. So it wouldn't have been a terrible power draw, and this thing probably would have been good for a couple hours worth of operation. As you can see, time has been kind to this thing. It probably hasn't had a lot of use, and I haven't even cleaned it up yet because right there on the top of it is the price sticker. I paid $5 and I didn't even try to bargain with the people who own the shop because it seemed like this thing was well worth the money to me. Of course, many portable television sets like this one have simply been left in the dust by the digital TV conversion, or as I prefer to call it, digital TV fiasco here in the United States and many other countries of the world. But you can pick these things up very cheaply as a result, and they still work as well as they ever did if you feed them, or can feed them, an old-style analog television signal that is appropriate for the type of set you have. Now here we have the brightness and contrast controls on the set. There's a place to plug in an earphone. This switch right here chooses between charging the battery and operating the set from the DC power adapter. I'm actually very fortunate to have gotten this because at this particular thrift store, these adapters have a real bad habit of walking and never being seen again, or not being seen again until many months later. But in this case, this one was still plugged in the set, and they hadn't gotten very far with this set yet because it was still sitting outside in the room full of stuff that was waiting to be checked in. Now in the case of this set, there is a built-in telescoping whip antenna for FM, shortwave, and television reception, There is an internal loop stick for AM reception, and the speaker, of course, is here in the top. A little bit later I'll give a demonstration of the set, but suffice it to say that the audio quality from such a small speaker is actually surprisingly good in this set. Back here on the back, not all portable televisions have this feature, but many do. There is a switch to choose between the external antenna and the rod antenna. There are also 300 ohm twin lead connections for UHF and VHF antennas. It's not mentioned anywhere on the body of the set, and I don't have the user's manual for sure to know if any of these sets of screw terminals on the back would also be useful as an FM or shortwave listening antenna. Now the set just slides out of its little leatherette casing, and again you can see it is in exceptional shape. There's a little particle of something shiny there by the speaker grill. There you can see the description of the unit. This is branded as a TMK set. This set was also sold under a variety of other brands, both here in the US and abroad. It was sold by RadioShack as a realistic in their 1985 catalog, and is mentioned as being new for 1985. It would have run you about $200 from RadioShack back in the day. You can see the description there: AM, FM, shortwave, VHF, UHF, all-channel micro TV, a description that is really not very far off from reality, because this thing could let you watch or listen to a lot of different programming. There's a stand that flips out on the bottom of it, and like many products from Japan, which this TV was manufactured in Japan, this set was sold under an abbreviation of its true manufacturer's or at least distributor's name. The original name of the company that sold it here in the US was Toyomenka America Incorporated, and they were located in New Jersey. You can see that this set was manufactured at the end of 1984 and probably sold sometime in the middle of 1985. Everything about this set is clean, functional, and pristine except for one thing, and those of you who are familiar with this are going to know what it is I'm about to show you. Unfortunately, previous owners never bothered to take the old batteries out, and these are old batteries. I would guess these are from the time when Duracell was a division of Mallory Corporation before they became a unit of Gillette and later Procter & Gamble. I think this mess can probably be cleaned up, but what a disaster for an otherwise cosmetically perfect little portable TV. Hopefully it hasn't ruined the battery compartment, because I would like to try and operate this set on batteries, at least for the radio functionality. However, it does work, and here's a demonstration. To start watching this TV is pretty easy. You just unclip this little flap that protects the telescoping antenna. You flip the antenna out, and then you can raise all of the segments up. I suppose that this antenna was probably something of an accident victim, because if you were carrying this television from a strap situated around your shoulder, you might potentially have that antenna sticking straight out beside you, and someone could walk into it, or it could brush up against another object and be bent or damaged. But in this case, that has not happened. Once you have the antenna out, you can simply turn the set on, and there are two tuning dials on the set. Of course, in this day and age of digital television here in the Midwestern United States, there's no way I'm going to receive any analog TV broadcasts, but if I could, I would tune them using the bottom dial. You might see some sign of a digital television broadcast through like a darker screen or a different static pattern. You can kind of see what I'm getting at right there. The tuning on this set is a little bit on the touchy side. And tuning on the television band is split across three ways, as many portable televisions were. You have VHF low, VHF high, and UHF. This little CRT is black and white, of course, and while it's not the smallest CRT ever made, it is certainly a smaller CRT, and it is in very good shape. It appears to be a very low-hour set based on the physical condition and the brightness of the picture if I were to wind the brightness and contrast controls up. Of course, there is no need to do that. Far more useful today, in our world, is the radio operation, because analog radio broadcasts are still, and hopefully will be for some time to come, readily available. As you can see, the CRT gets turned off. I don't think it keeps the CRT heater or anything going, because if you turn the television switch back on, you do have to wait for the little tube to warm back up again before it displays anything. It has a nice little dot that appears when it shuts down. Anyway, here is tuning on the FM broadcast band.
I'm happy that I made the choice I did, and this is just another thing that reinforces, the decision that I made being a good one,
Apparently that guy is very happy with his decision.
Four-hour flight for them. Obviously, penalties played a part because of the credit.
To be able to pull it off solo, that's the idea.
Or visit the Civic Center box.
Let's see what's going on over on the AM band. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of computer-generated hash in this house, and this room is illuminated by some compact fluorescent lights whose switch mode power supplies, or more accurately ballasts, probably aren't helping a whole lot. Let's go ahead and just do a quick sweep of the band and see if I can find anything here. A little something there.
Because we know deficits do matter. Look at this.
Chicken, one delicious one.
That sounds so awesome.
The Texas Leprechaun, which is a shamrock shake based.
So that's the AM broadcast band. Now let's try the shortwave. I don't know how much activity there'll be on this particular band during this part of the day, but let's just see what's out there. Pretty quiet so far. There was something.
Have you ever noticed, do you ever think about that? We sang Sweet Hour of Prayer. I wonder how many of them sang it have ever spent an hour in prayer.
The tuning on shortwave is definitely a bit touchy.
Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he crouched down on the earth and put his face between his knees.
There you have it. That is a demonstration of the late 1984 TMK-717 portable black and white television set, and AM/FM shortwave radio. Thank you for watching, and do feel free to leave a comment.